stenographers, I guess that's a freelance business. And I forgot about that. And so there are all sorts of businesses that I probably couldn't even think of right now that fit into this. And what's unfair, and I know that Sarah and this group is fighting to eliminate or at least restructure the unincorporated business tax in New York City. It really is, it's absurd. It's both unfair and it provides a disincentive for the sort of activity we want. So it's really, on both fronts, right? We understand it's to raise money, but you look at it from both angles. You must have free beer inside. But the two things that we try to at least do with the tax code that is supposed to make some sense is to have fairness and incentivize good activity. And this really is just one of those things that fails on both fronts miserably. It's wrong, it's unfair, and what it does is it tells entrepreneurs, I think, in some respects, you're not welcome in New York City. That's the message, I think. And it does it by virtue of the fact that you can make a lot more money doing the same work somewhere else. And that's a shame. And what we should be doing as a city, if we want to, and this is not politics. I don't want you to think this is politics, but this is an example of the fact that when they say they're going to tax the other guy, they really do mean you. Because, if they really do. It sounds great. It sounds great that we say we're going to tax the rich guy. Remember, the unincorporated business tax in New York City came about in, I think, 1966, 7, or 8, something like that. And it was proposed as a tax on the rich guys who were sort of, we hear it still today. That was 1966. And it was a tax to get those rich guys that were slipping through and not paying their fair share in taxes. That's how it was billed. You know what it really was all about? It was about, them looking at a budget deficit the way we're looking at now and saying, where can we get money from? Well, we have all these business owners out there that are making money, they're very productive. Hey, they're the rich guys. That's what they think. And they said, okay, let's slap them with this 4% tax, which is absurd. And the theory is, I think sometimes in New York City we're arrogant, right? We say, well, where are you going to go? New York City. Where are you going to go? Well, people are going. We're going to lose a couple of members of Congress in the next census because our state has shrunk relative to surrounding states. We've lost thousands upon thousands of jobs. Businesses, I'm here to talk about you, but we're not, and Sarah and you're not against corporations, and you're not against the other way of making a living, working for a company, right? They're not bad people. Those companies are leaving. They're leaving the state and the city in huge numbers. Why? Because somebody said we were going to tax the other guy, and we hit him with that tax. And that's, when you look at the unincorporated business tax, it really it is so punitive, it is so unfair, it is so ridiculous, and worse than all that, it means that we have less tax revenue, because people like yourselves, and you're not allowed to leave. Once you come into this room, you can't leave. But people like yourselves are saying, you know what, I'll do what I'm doing in New Jersey. I'll do what I'm doing somewhere else. And I can save right off the bat the 4%. I could save right off the bat the New York City income tax that doesn't exist elsewhere. So it's important. And the reason I'm here is because I want to let you know that I believe in everything that the Freelancers Union stands for. Hey, John Tarosky from my Albany office. How's the weather up there? What? I believe in everything that she and this union and you stand for, and I feel, and I want you to know, that I know it's my responsibility to make sure that we have government policy that supports your work and your entrepreneurship, because I know, as I said, I'm raising my young family, 3 kids. Olivia's 11, Abigail's 8, Andrew Jack is 4. I know that their future is dependent on you being successful and staying here and bringing your creativity and your industry here, so that, because you pay the bills. You pay the bills around here. And so I want you to stay here. And I think a good way to keep you here is to make sure that you have fairness. A good way to keep you here is to make sure that we get an income stabilization fund. We get rid of the unincorporated business tax. What else, Sarah, do we need to do?
Support our efforts in health insurance in New York.
Health insurance, collectively coming together. I think if we could do those 3 things, we could probably do a better job keeping you here, and even better than that, having my kids grow up believing that they could be just like you, that they can go out and open a business, that they can go out and work hard. You really represent the best in America. You take